Welcome to Empowerment Radio. My name is Dr. Friedemann, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me. Empowerment Radio is about giving you the insights, tools, and solutions to address some of the most challenging aspects of our daily lives. So sit back, relax, and empower yourself. Welcome to Empowerment Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Friedemann, and I hope you're doing all well. I hope you are staying safe and in the social distancing mode that your area has been recommending to do. You know, one of the things about this so interesting time we're living in is that we are, I believe, more than ever thinking about our health. You know, we are taking health for granted. It's one of those things that pretty much we believe is always there unless we are really dealing with some illness. Now, many of us are not really dealing right now with illness, but we are still thinking about health. What can we do to protect our health, to boost our health, to make ourselves more healthy? And also, for those of you who have been dealing with an illness, let's say, for example, with a virus, and you are struggling with it or have been dealing with fever or coughing or anything like this, but you haven't really been able to go to the doctor, or you felt like, well, it's not as bad and the hospitals are overwhelmed. Well, this may be exactly what you need today, this show, because it is about healing. And it's about how we can heal, and it's ultimately healing from the inside out. Healing, as my special guest says, healing against all odds. And I think healing happens. Healing is not something that is done to us. Healing is not necessarily something that is created by the doctors or is created by the medication we are taking or the prescription we are receiving. That is just something that is supporting the healing, that is adding to the healing. In the end, it's still, like my father said, it's the body that heals. The doctor prescribes. And I think there is such truth to that. So without further ado, I'm so excited to have my special guest, Avital Miller, on the show, who is the best-selling author of a fabulous book, which is called Healing Happens to You. And it's a collection of just amazing healers and physicians and so on that are talking about stories of their clients and patients and people they know that have been healing against all odds, against what they were told, and how they are perceiving what healing is all about, and the tips and insights they can give us. And that is what Avital will share with us today. So thank you, Avital, so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor and a joy to be on your show and to contribute to the work you've been doing with bringing people insight to realize how they can expand their potential.
Thank you. And I'm really excited because healing is such a big topic for me as well. As a physician, I was at the side of believing that the body cannot do it, and we have to have somehow the help of medicine to do this for us. And then I really got, not a 180, but let's say a 125, where I felt, well, what if all of us have way more healing potential than we were made believe? And what if we could tap into this potential? So I'm sure it's going to be a great conversation talking with you about this, but tell us a little bit more about you and how you got onto this path, because I think you worked at Microsoft at some point, right?
I did. And a lot of people ask what a former program manager from Microsoft is doing being involved with healing. And really, I had a story similar to what you're describing. Growing up, I had a lot of trust in the doctors, just like most people would, and that they're really the source for healing, for keeping ourselves healthy, for getting better when things go wrong. And then I started to have my own stuff go wrong. And at the time, I I was at Microsoft and I actually just didn't feel like that was my path. And I left it and I got involved with yoga, with fitness, and I'm teaching 25 to 30 classes all over town every single week. And I'm a fitness director. I'm a teacher trainer. Maybe some of you can relate, kind of having a lot to do and loving having so much to do. And I was known as the Energizer Bunny. So here I am just in my young prime with all this potential and all these wonderful things I'm doing. And I'm a health and fitness instructor. I know about health. And I start having health issues. And I'm having a fever for 2 months, 3 months, not getting better. The doctors are not giving me any solutions. My beautiful long hair is falling out. My muscles were turning to fat and I was getting weaker than my students. I was having issues with fatigue and was taking my first naps, which was foreign to me as an Energizer Bunny. And I was concerned, a lot of you would be, like, am I going to be out of the job soon? I can't keep up with my own students. And I did what most of us would do. I went to the doctor. And it took a while, actually, with the doctors to figure out exactly what was going on. And we came to the conclusion that I had Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder, as well as hypothyroidism. And then they just gave me some supplements. They gave me a high dosage of medicine. And they just said, okay, you're going to be on this for life, and that's it. And they send me out the door. They won't tell me anything else that could be going on. And the first thing that was happening was it was actually a very rocky road, if any of you know what it's like to be taking hormone medicine. And the body changes from moment to moment, from day to day, as a woman's body is naturally shifting, but as our day-to-day lives shift. And what I did first was I found balance. And what was happening was I kind of thought that, all right, well, I'm stuck with this for life. Kind of like an arranged marriage, I didn't choose this partner. It was chosen for me, but I'm going to make the most of this, right? Because I want this lifelong relationship to last. And I have so many visions and goals and dreams for myself of what I could do in the world. I want to do it. So let me just figure out how to do it, working around what is going on. And we start opening the books, right? We start doing the research when this happens and reading online. And I was going to all different types of medical practitioners. I even studied for 2 months one-to-one with a practitioner called Ayurveda in India. And that's an ancient Indian medical science, which is not just curative, but it's also preventative. And it helps you understand the natural balance of your own body and how we're each unique, which is also a different understanding than just everyone getting prescribed the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm finding this balance. So I'm not having so many ups and downs, which is wonderful.
So what did the trick? Was it like everything together you did, or did you find one specific remedy or aspect that really helped you the most?
That's a really good question. And when you're trying 20 million things at once, it's hard to know. The one thing I did realize was that I had a sense of intuition because I was doing a lot of things I wasn't enjoying as well. And I was doing too many things at times. So I realized I'm just going to do the things I enjoy and use my intuition. But here's the kicker. I made one change after that. After I found balance, one change, which was that I started meditating more. I moved into a yoga community, so it was easy to create the habit because I had the supportive community. And that's why I have a meditation group today, so that I can help support people with that sense of community to actually make it a habit. And so I'm meditating more and more, and you might know this, others might know this. How does meditation make you feel?
Crappy at the beginning. At the beginning, you feel like you want to just jump off the mat and run away because your mind is racing like crazy and you feel very uncomfortable. Eventually, it feels better, and eventually it becomes like a necessity. But yeah, it takes a while. It's not the immediate, like all that we want, which is usually immediate gratification. That's certainly not, in my experience at least, what meditation does.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And after you get over that initial hump of your mind going crazy, how does your body feel? You know, when your mind starts relaxing into it, your body feels good, right?
So would
And
you say that the path of meditation and balance was for you also then the call to say, I'm going to get out of this, little hamster wheel I was in, where you were doing too much and where you were identifying yourself with the Energizer bunny? Did you change the way you looked at yourself?
I already decided that I was stressing myself out by trying too many things before I started meditation. But this is what happened with the meditation. So I first got over that hump of getting myself to settle down and be quiet. And then the body tends to feel really good, but I was not. I was having all sorts of interesting symptoms and opposing symptoms coming up. And I went back to the doctor. And they did their tests and they said, well, you're overdosed on your medication. You need to lower your dosage.
Wow.
So this is what was interesting. So we lowered my dosage and then I started feeling good again. And then I meditated more and then I started not feeling good again. And I went back to the doctor and like, well, we need to lower your dosage. So they kept doing that. And some people nickname that time going from medication to meditation. So meditation by itself can help you get out of the hamster wheel. And I felt like there were two key things about meditation. One is that most of the challenges that we have in our body come from stress.
Yes.
And meditation completely de-stresses us. And this is important because it's hard to turn off the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. We want to be sitting in the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. And one of the things that's really nice about everyone staying home now is that we're actually getting impacted by a lot less environmental things. Now, people might have challenges in the home that they need to deal with, but they're probably not hearing as many noises. Their body's not getting impacted by as much stimuli, right? The air is getting clearer. There's not as much pollution in the air. So there's, in some ways, at least less stress on our body, right? There's more stress. Some people are out of work as well. So we kind of, have to deal with those things too and figure out how do we minimize that so we can relax. And often when you sit and meditate, you're like, oh, this isn't a big deal, or oh, I can find a solution. Like you lose that sense of tension around a situation that's happening and start to do it enough where we maintain that state of staying in the relaxation state.
And
But when
that's
I was
really, oh, sorry, we have to go to break quickly, but I wanted just to say when we come back, we will talk more about the parasympathetic nervous system state, because you're absolutely right. I also find that is one of the key to healing. And what I found in your book was very interesting about those 5 factors that can actually affect the parasympathetic nervous system. And meditation is a way to get there, but also to see what other 5 factors are there that can actually help you to be more in that balanced and more parasympathetic nervous system state. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.